Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crossover Cinema Podcast. We're here reviewing film, series, media releases. My name is Carlo.
And I'm Kaya, y'all. You already know what it is. We're reviewing the latest episode of Agatha All Along, in which we got to see Lilia's full origin story and the trial that was following her. On top of that, we got to see Wiccan's true identity be revealed to everybody and everybody dealing with the ramifications of that, all the while seeing how Agatha and Billy's relationship just isn't the same anymore. On top of that, we're going to see where everything goes in the future with Rio's death.
Yeah, that reveal that we didn't know about. But before we start, Kaya, I'm just seeing in the back your Matrix suit or something.
So look at that. He is on the money. He's on the money, y'all.
Right beside your beautiful curtain. That's a little crooked.
It is a little bent. It's a little bent. You know, it's holding the weight of the world on its shoulders. But
it's, yeah, it is what it is. But what is it? Is it like your Halloween costume or something?
For
people that don't see it, it looks like a black
vinyl, you know, PU leather type, you know, material. Yeah, so basically I've been wanting to dress up as Trinity from The Matrix 1.
Specifically, a long time ago you're talking about
specifically that version of that outfit. Yeah, right. So over the year I've just basically, you know, found my way around the fit and got some pants, got some ladies pants from Fashion Nova in my size, and bought a tank top off of Shein. I got the holsters. I'm just missing the 9mm Beretta toy pistol type, like, you know, little like knockoff, which is very hard to find because toy guns are a lot harder to get in nice black with the orange tip nowadays. They're all colorful and like look like, you know, Rainbow Gang, which is great, but I didn't sign up for that. I want my black guns for my Trinity cosplay. But on that note, I'm very excited to do it. So I'm happy. I'm very happy with the fit. You already know.
So guys, don't miss it out because we're gonna be dressed in our costume for the Halloween one. I think it's gonna be the penguin one.
It should be our next
Halloween.
It should be the next episode.
But it's gonna be a good one. So just watch our costumes. We got good costumes.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Halloween.
It's gonna be exciting.
But let's get right into it.
Yeah. So Agatha, episode 7, bro. We're almost at the end, and we got back the gang.
As much of the gang as we could.
As much as the gang as we could, for sure. But we got some revelation too. We got the confirmation that Rio is death, but you told it like a couple of times.
There was a lot of telegraphs, I think, and I feel like this episode, the one, I wouldn't say it's a weak point. I think that reveal was clear, but the reveal doesn't have as much of a punch as with Lilia's origin and the setup throughout the season with those kind of like kooky moments she has. And I feel like the death reveal was more of an add-on, you know, in addition, don't forget, we met all these mentions that she's dead and she laughed about it, and now we're confirming it. Not only that, but taking it a step further and going as comic book accurate as I think the show was willing to, in giving her the skull face, which I think is so important to the role. And I really hope that the idea is she can take whatever form she wants, but underneath that veneer of Aubrey Plaza is a skeleton looking as death. You know, like I want that. I want to see that by season's end. I would love to see that. See if they hook that up.
Yeah, because she wasn't there on this episode, but she was there in those flashes, but she's not there yet. But yeah, with that, let's go right into the elephant in the room for me, the Maleficent side story with like.
Well, there Wizard of Oz.
Like, we have other series with witches, guys. I don't know, like
it definitely felt inspired.
Plug rare, but yeah.
Yes, like it was giving a theater version of Wizard of Oz or anything like that, especially because the outfits felt so classic. Like they felt like a really high quality Halloween outfit. I think even the green makeup on Agatha was a good example. Like she really looked like she was from the 1930s movies and not like Cynthia Erivo and Wicked now, you know? Like it was really like, oh yeah, this is OG Alfalfa, you know?
Yeah.
I could rock with that.
Is it just for Halloween though? I was wondering, like, was it helpful for the story? I'm not gonna lie, I love that episode. It was one of my favorites so far. Yeah. I really like the story, the backstory of Lilia.
The tie into that, like her actual origin all the way through, like it's satisfactory. It's not just that we got it. It actually was satisfying to see her kind of come full circle, realize her powers, and really be the focal point of the group for once. You know, she's not just this kooky old lady that's there. She's really got this intense power to her, and the power of, you know, just like friendship in a lot of respects.
Yeah, and you called it like she's gonna be an important part of that series for sure. Like,
you do not, I repeat, you do not hire Patty Lupin for nothing, and that was clear. Here was like the best display of like, yeah, we hired her because we have a meaty part for her. And this episode, funnily enough, was like a little bit shorter than some of the other ones, but it felt like it packed in so much, and I think that is a good example of why this episode stuck the landing for me really well.
And
Go ahead, please.
Go for it.
No,
Go
please,
for it.
please. Oh,
Please.
let's not be
Sir,
polite
my good sir.
Canadians right now. Let's
just go for it. Yeah,
Okay,
we're
well,
so Canadian.
I think that the step further I would take with it is that I feel her role throughout the series now kind of gets that redefinition. And so when you go back and rewatch it, yes, they did all these moments where you're clearly getting the callbacks. But I feel like it informs all those moments even more when you just rewatch the series if you choose to. And I feel like you're going to get a better understanding of the significance of her role from the start, but also kind of seeing all those seeds be planted and watching from a writing perspective how that plays out. You know, how do you take this line of dialogue and you sprinkle it throughout each episode and effectively and make it have a narrative punch at the end of it. You know, it works.
Yeah, and I think that the episode 7 is a good episode to do that too. Like, there's enough there that have been built. You saw a lot. Like, that episode was a good episode. Like, I was like understanding everything that I saw since the beginning, and I like the fact that we were going through time like that, and that her power is not that she's like, yeah, she has that power of telling the future, but it's more about like she's everywhere at the same time, and time is another perspective for her, and that's what I like about that. Like,
experiencing that time in the most non-linear way, and I feel like that was what the episode was trying to achieve through the pacing. You know, like cutting back to her talking to, I presume it was her mother or her teacher, and
oh, that was an awesome scene, bro.
It was great. You know, great to keep coming back to that.
And you really understand at the same time as her, like, okay, like, it's not controlling what's happening, and it's just like using those sparks because you know like what happened before, and just going with those waves and
kind
like,
of being like an observer, right? Like kind of having that omnipresent, like what she said about her coven dying to fever. It was this clear, like, I can't prevent this. This is something that will happen, but my ability to see that kind of gives her, it allows her to have that extra time with them in a way that she can appreciate them more. I think if she didn't know that, right, and let's say she gets angry with her coven one day and they die from fever, she doesn't get to have that reconciliation. But seeing that is going to happen, it's kind of like she always will appreciate the time she has with them. And I feel like that's also what was being added with the group, was you were getting this impression that she already had this relationship with them through those kooky moments, and seeing that actually come full circle, you know, with her relationship with Jen, especially. You could tell she was really, she saw Jen as a friend, and also saw the potential she had as a witch to, you know, to take her power and spread it to the other witches, like a next generation.
And it's a nice little touch to see her in the future with all that Botox and like being sad about like that funeral that we don't know. But that was a nice little humoristic touch. I liked it.
It felt like they wanted to make sure we still got the humor and the lightness that we expect with this show, while still making sure the dark moments hit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was a nice episode. Like, that's the thing with last week I was saying, I hope it's not going to be like an avocado,
an oxidized avocado. Yes.
Yeah. Like, and no, it goes where I think it would go. I can't wait to see when Rio's going to come back, though.
Well, that's the thing. I think it didn't necessarily subvert your expectations this week. You wanted to get back on the road, but you were appreciative of that. And the way that they did it naturally, having the group come back together, kind of having Teen's attitude, you know, the way that he was kind of responding to Agatha was kind of indicative to you that he's not really, like, we didn't get the full breadth of his personality. It was almost like he was always cooped up. He was always keeping the nice guy out. But there's this little sass and sauciness. And I think, you know, his questions about his mother, his questions about his identity, whether or not he's William, whether or not he's Billy. I feel like those moments are just serving to kind of add to the depth of all these characters and really show that, like, if we were to continue with them in another series, another season, another Marvel property, they would get to have a bit more to do. I feel like here they're getting to breathe and become the characters they are. But once they're like fully formed, like I want to see how Billy kind of, finds his way within the Witch's Coven and just being a warlock, what that's like.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see Billy like with that double life, and he wants to see if he's feeling his brother right now, right?
That link to Tommy especially is important for him. Instead of Scarlet Witch as much.
Do you have a little idea who's Tommy? Like,
oh, well, I got you. I got you. So I think if we're basing it off of the comics, they both go into two widely different families' bodies, and I wouldn't be surprised if the idea is very much not too dissimilar to what we already have with William, where like we get this backstory of, it could be I could see it being a situation where William's backstory is a little more simpler, a little more like culturally significant with the Judaism and whatnot. Whereas I think with Tommy's story, it might be more about like the circumstances he's under. I think the fact that they're going to have to go across the world to really find each other, and I could see it being that Tommy's maybe, from Romania or something. And that there's this kind of idea that there's not this actual, I guess, geographical link between them, that they're really trying to find each other across countries, across continents, And I think that that's the main point of why we're not so focused on Scarlet Witch's presence. I feel like we know we would love to see Scarlet Witch here, and we know that there's a big chance that she's not dead, which I'm always, since Multiverse of Madness, Scarlet Witch is not dead. So sorry. Rocks don't kill that girl. She's just fine. But all that being said, I feel like what the show wants to focus on is less so that. Give us a couple moments. Have Agatha reference the fact that she's clearly not dead. You don't ask a straight lady, a not straight lady, not so straight questions and expect straight answers, right? And I feel like that is what we're building to, more of the brotherly relationship, which will then lead to them finding Scarlet Witch, but in turn more focus on the boys themselves, their personalities, and how those come out, aside from her.
I get it. Yeah, it makes sense, Kai. I think you got it.
Just a little notch on my belt,
I think you did your homework seriously.
I try. But
I think it's it, right? I don't know if you feel like it's a wrap.
I feel like we could go on for days about Patty Lupon's performance, but all in all, Patty Lupon, you killed it. I really want to see if your role in the MCU will continue, because we did not see a body. So until we see a body, I don't think Patty Lupon is gone. I would love to see Lydia come back, and I'm really looking forward to the way that Death plays into these next two episodes. I think we're getting the finale actually and the penultimate episode together next week, so we're doubling up, and I think it's going to be a lot going down in these next two, 100%.
So don't miss that up, guys. If you want to check it out, just follow, subscribe, like if you liked it. It's really appreciated. If not, we still love you. See you guys next time.
Of course, it's always a pleasure, you guys. And until next time on the next Crossover Cinema Podcast. Ciao.
See you guys.